Welcome back, folks, to Let's Replay Mystic Quest, and when last we left off, Jim is fighting his way through the Temple of Mana, and has defeated not one, but two dragons, the dragon and the red dragon. They were both effectively the same fight, except the red dragon started by going anti-clockwise around this arena, and occasionally changed the direction that it was going. Otherwise it was exactly the same fight. May have had more health, but we defeated it just the same as we did the first fight. We also have two of the three best pieces of armour in the game, the samurai helmet and the samurai armour. We don't have the best shield yet, and we do have the best weapon, but it currently isn't the best weapon. Let's move on and defeat these enemies here. And I managed to completely miss hitting both of those enemies. But that's okay, because we'll take care of the enemies right now. As you can see, the Dragon Sword is a really good weapon. It's been a good weapon ever since we got it, and we could have used Nuke against those demon heads, but Nuke takes up a lot of magic points, and I'd rather save all of our magic points. You never know when we might get into a bad situation and really need to heal ourselves. Let's go this way, and head to the left. Why not, eh? There is one of those enemies that is very unimpressed with everything that we do. You took this long to get through to this area? I am not impressed at all. Why should I be impressed? Aha! Your spear does nothing with this pillar in the way. Well, I can just hit you now. Oh. And then that foe was gone. We don't need what's in there. We're going to equip the Dragon Sword and head up here, where, not surprisingly, there is a teleporter that we can use. We'll just take care of you and see what's in here. Is there anything good here? The answer is, it's a dead end and we need to move back the way we came. Ideally, I'd like to get one more level before we get to the next boss, because then we will have over 300 health. And now we can't see anything. That's okay, we don't need to see anything to defeat these foes. And there's an item. We don't need that item right now. We may need an item later though if we use all of our keys. We have 2 piles of keys, but we've already used one of them, and eventually I imagine we're going to use the others. And I completely missed there, because I was looking at the enemy on the right, not realising that I was nowhere near that foe. These enemies are, not the easiest to hit. Fortunately, that enemy made it rather easy for us to hit him. Right, we have a treasure chest here, and we actually want to use a X-Ether and clear a inventory space. Because the ninjas have elixirs, and the demon heads have X-Ethers. We want some elixirs. Elixirs are pretty awesome. Much better than X-Ethers. We want as many of them as we can get. If the X-Ethers were in piles of 2, we'd probably want them more, and we've gained a level up. Marvellous. We want to gain some wisdom here, so that we have 54 wisdom, but more importantly, we have 310 hit points. And we're definitely making progress. And here are some more of the demon heads. We can take care of you quite capably. You are gone, and you will also be gone soon. There we go. Let's move on, and head down here. Down here leads to an area with 2 ninjas. I was expecting ninjas, either them or the demon heads or a different enemy that we haven't seen for a while. I'm surprised that there aren't more enemies in this temple, just some of the hardest enemies that we've encountered throughout the game, just thrown in everywhere. But no, they've actually kept the roster of foes here quite light, which I like. Gives the area a distinct atmosphere, rather than some of the dungeons we've encountered before here, which just had a little bit of everything in it. Now we could go this way, or we could go down. Down leads to a teleporter, so we're going to head this way and see what is over here. We have 2 keys here, so we can only open one more door after this. Here is a single teleporter. I don't know if this leads to progress. Typically, in this dungeon we found that the places you need to use keys to unlock lead to progress. So in here is a healing pool. It's nice to see, but I'd rather it not be here. There is one enemy. We've taken care of you, which means that if we have to open up another door, we're going to run out of keys. We still have 1 key, and we'll just do that. And there are some foes there that didn't need a key to open. It was worth checking. I don't even want to fight you, but I have to move around you to get to this teleporter. And that enemy there was making it difficult for us to get there. We are very high up. Look at the tops of those mountains there. We're moving even higher up than we already were, considering that we went up a waterfall to get to this temple. We'll just get rid of you. You are gone, and you will be gone too soon. You are also gone. And let's open this up and switch out our cure magic. We need the cure magic. Rather switch out the key for the cure magic. Ah! There is a treasure chest. Now, are we going to need a key to open this door? We are. That is some good timing, because we can use this key here to open this door, and then open this and get an elixir, which means that we now have a full inventory once again. That is fantastic. We'll just quick cure here, and move on. And this is the room that we could see before that we couldn't do anything in, because we were in that sealed off area. Far be it from Jim to squeeze past that pillar here. I'm sure he could do it, but the game won't let you. So we're just going to move on. Past this room and into here, where there are these foes. If we hadn't got that item from the ninja, we'd have had to have relied on these enemies to give us something. Which one of them would have, but I'd rather have an elixir than what this enemy had, which I think is an X-Cure. And here are more of these foes, and then every single room we go into will give us a treasure chest. I wouldn't mind that, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case. We also need to watch out, because these enemies will turn Jim into a Moogle. We don't want that. We just want to move on and head to this room. Okay, this is a puzzle where we're going to need to use the ice magic for sure. What we're going to have to do is wait for one of these enemies to be over there, and another enemy to be on the other side of the room. We'll just freeze one of them about there. Excellent. And we'll freeze you there. Now we're going to find out which one of these will open the door. It's not that one. It's not this one. Is it one of these? It's that one. Thank you, Ninja. You've been very helpful. And now we shall leave. Up here is a room with one ninja. Guess what? I turned a ninja in that room into a snowman! And I still have the ice magic equipped. I don't want the ice magic equipped. I want cure equipped. Brilliant. Over here is a room with some very easy enemies compared to what we've been facing before. Ah well, the Morning Star is pretty good at taking care of both of the enemies in this room. So we'll just use that. It's been a while since I've had to use this as a weapon, but I will use it. It's why I've held on to it. Actually, I've held on to it all this time because we have needed it to replace the mattock. There is no item, as far as I know, that will replace the key. And this is when I find out that there is an item that replaces the key, and I just have never got it ever. Ah well, we'll just move on. We don't need to defeat that final foe. We will defeat you, however. One hit here, and I completely missed. Ah well, you're dead anyway, and you may drop another elixir. I'll just get rid of this here, and we now have one spare slot for some samurai armour. Well, that just, I knew that would happen at some point, and it has. We could go and head back into the rooms that we've previously been in and seek out another item to replace that slot, but I'm just going to move on instead. Into this room, which leads to another boss. And if you think it's going to be a dragon, you'd be absolutely right, and that's why I'm equipping the Thunder Spear. But it's not the dragon that you think it will be. It's this dragon, the zombie dragon. And if you think this dragon looks an awful lot like the first boss we ever fought, that is because, mechanically, it is the first boss that we fought. Except it's got more health, deals more damage when it hits us, and those projectiles deal a lot more damage. It's a bit of a weak boss, considering the fact that the other bosses were different. Well, albeit that two of them are exactly the same, with just some slightly different mechanics. This boss is literally the same, compared to the very first boss, the easiest boss. And it's only half of the zombie dragon as well. I find it a little bit hard to believe that the zombie dragon is submerged in this solid rock floor. Or maybe it's a marble floor. Either way, I don't think zombie dragons can phase through solid matter like that. Either way, the Thunder Spear will serve us well here. I imagine if we have the Zeus Axe, it would be just as effective. The Dragon Sword does nothing. And the projectiles here don't deal a lot of damage. Hitting the zombie dragon will deal a lot of damage, as in if a zombie dragon hits you by running into you. Don't let the zombie dragon run into you. It's got a lot of health, but we can deal a lot of damage, so we shouldn't be too bad if I could stop just aiming a little bit too far down, or in the completely wrong direction. That would be fantastic, Jim. Just a heal up here, might as well, and wait a tiny bit longer. There we go, and we missed, because one of the heads moved. That is unfortunate. And again, we have missed. We could be being a lot more, less careful with how we're attacking. We could be moving up while it's heading up and down, and then taking our attacks then. But I'd rather be safe instead of sorry, because if I get stuck by this enemy, I will take a lot of damage, and that would be very bad. Could just attack there, and one attack there. As you can see there, one hit dealt about 60 points of damage. You do not want to get hit by the zombie dragon itself. The projectiles is fine, don't get hit by the dragon. But that's okay, because the dragon zombie is gone. And now we can move up to here. And here is the final part of the game. We have reached the end. But we aren't yet done. We need to head up here and find these enemies. The elephant enemies. The elephant enemies drop the shield. The best shield in the game. And we want that shield. So what we're going to do is we're going to head as far up as we can get before we get to a point where we can't remain here. And then we're going to keep heading back down. Until we eventually get what we want. And as you can see here, this leads to the second point of no return. We can't go back now. But we find you. You have been a great knight of Gemma, I see. You're the person from that vision back in Wendell. Yes, that's me. I've been watching your progress for all this time. And I have to say, you've done some very silly things, Jime. It's Jim. It doesn't matter, you're not going to correct what you're saying, are you? No, you're quite right, I'm not. I shall give you the Excalibur. Now defeat Julius. I have a question. Go ahead. If you knew I was going to get here, I didn't know you were going to get here, but if you had a hunch that I was going to get here, surely you could have given me Excalibur then, so that I could have got here easier? No, that's not how it works, Jime. Why doesn't it work like that? You have to prove that you are worthy of wielding Excalibur before I give you Excalibur. But I could have died on the way here without Excalibur. Clearly you didn't need it as you got here. That's true. Now take Excalibur, defeat Julius. Alright then. We have now received Excalibur. And we're going to equip Excalibur. Let's find it. Excalibur is there. Excalibur. It has a lot of attack power, and we're going to put this there. We can head up here. There is a small area where we can fight enemies. Not many enemies, but we can fight them. Which is good, because we need to fight enemies to get the best piece of, the final best piece of armour in the game. Which is the shield. We need that shield. And to get that shield, we're going to have to defeat every foe that we can find. But there aren't that many foes in this small area. And if we head up those stairs, we will get to the final boss in the game. And so, we're going to walk around until eventually we find what we want. And it's going to take a fair while for us to get what we want, because the enemies respawn very slowly here. But I will get that final item. I will get it. It will just take a little while. And we can head down here. There aren't any enemies here. And there aren't any enemies here. And so, Jim is going to start hunting for the final piece of armour in the game, the Aegis shield. We'll return once his hunt is complete. And here is one treasure chest, although the chances that it's what we want are very small. We also gained 1 level. We now have 321 maximum health, as we now have 56 power, 55 stamina, 55 will, and 54 wisdom. We are level 54. That's a lot of levels. What does this contain? Unicorn. We found a unicorn horn. That is not what we want, but that does mean that this is now full. If we get another treasure chest, we will find what we want. And so, the hunt continues. We must get that shield. It is a really good shield.